everyone, welcome to this new video. This video will be about how you can start your friendship bracelet. In this video I will be covering how you can start your friendship bracelet in a triangle, how you can make it basic look, and how you can make it teardrop look. Enjoy!
Triangle ends. I chose a pattern for triangle ends, and it's this pattern. It will be visible on the screen somewhere here, and I'm going to explain what I'm doing. So I have chosen this triangle, and what I'm first gonna do is I'm gonna separate all the strings I need to have on either side of my triangle. In this case it is one color of every string on each side, so that's what I'm gonna do first. And I have done so. As you can see, I am going to be knotting with a white string, which means I have to make a knot with my white string first. But I'm first going to tell you how you can see which color you need to make a knot with. So in the pattern you can see these short parts of string between each knot, and you are going to look at those little parts to see which color you need to implement first. So for me it is white, and on the right side of the triangle I am going to be making a backward knot, and then I am putting the white string away. So in my pattern I can see that the next color is dark green. So I'm gonna take the dark green out of all the strings that are left, and I'm going to make a backward knot on the remaining strings. My next color will be light green. So I'm gonna take it out of the 3 remaining strings, and I'm going to make a backward knot on top of them. So in the pattern it's a yellow string, but for me it is a light blue string because I chose some different colors. And I'm also going to make a backward knot with this one. And then I have one string left, which is my blue string. So this is one side of my triangle end, and now I'm going to do the same on the left side with the exact same colors, but the exception of that I'm not going to make a backward knot, but that I'm going to be making a forward knot. And over here, this is a great example. You can see that my green string is on the right side of the bundle of strings, but as I just told you, you should make a forward knot, but in this case you can make a backward forward knot. You just have to make the knot that suits the placement of the string where it is right now the best, so that you get the nicest looking triangle end. Now you're going to start to knot. In my pattern I am going to be making a full white row on both ends of my triangle. So that's what I'm going to do first. Be really careful when you tie your first knot, because you don't want to tie it too tightly and pull the triangle ends like this, but you also don't want to tie it too loose so that they hang apart of each other, and then you can see little gaps. Most of the time you use triangle ends for smaller patterns like these. Well, I actually use them. You can also make a loop with this one, but I prefer the look of having a triangle end with this pattern, as it suits the pattern better. You can also make a triangle end to finish your bracelet. It actually works in the same way as you did with making the beginning triangle end, but instead of that your bundle of strings is getting smaller, you're gonna make it bigger. But I will make a separate video on how you can end your bracelet, because there are a few different techniques out there. So as you can see, this one got a little bit looser. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gently gonna pull it a little bit tighter, the light blue string. Then I'm gonna top a knot on top of it. And I'm also holding the blue string when I'm knotting on my light blue string, just to keep my knot in place. And if you've done this, you can start making your bracelet, which you can see me doing in a time-lapse video. A basic loop, you start of course by cutting your string, and you are gonna make them twice the amount of length you would normally cut, because you're gonna fold your string. You're gonna make one string longer. For me it's this one. These are the ends of my string, and I have cut this string longer so that I can make the loop out of it. So for making a loop, you're gonna pull out the string that you are going to use. For me it's this one. And it's actually really easy to make a loop. You're first going to make a backward knot. Of course, that's you can decide if you make a backward or forward knot first on where your string is, and mine was on the right side. So I decided to make a backward knot. And then I'm going to make a forward knot. And I do want to make sure that they are pulled tightly and that they are close together. Then again I'm going to be making a backward knot, then again a forward knot, and this is basically how you make a basic loop. I'm now gonna fast forward how I make the loop, and then I will explain how I make the start of the bracelet. As you can see, I have taken out the small knot that was on this side to mark where the center was, the middle was, where you fold them, and I have taped it down. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm first going to start with this side. So I'm going to put away all of these strings over here, and I am just going to tape them down so they stay put. And we're actually going to make small triangles on either sides of the loop, and then connect the triangles. So in my pattern, I'm now going to look at my pattern, and I'm going to look how many strings I need to divide of each one, and I need to have one of each color on every side. So I am going to do that first. And it's a little bit hard to see because there are two colors of pink that are really alike. So then I have to take out all of these and then two brown ones. I'm just gonna pull them underneath. So as you can see, this is the string I made the loop with, and because it naturally goes to this side, I am going to use it on this side of the triangle end. And in my pattern I can see that I first have to make a knot with this one. So that's also a big tip. I like it when my loop has the same color of the first knot that I am going to be making. So the second color I'm going to pick is I'm going to make a knot with is the dark brown, or just the brown, and after that it will be the light brown. Then it will be, I have to quickly look at my paper with all my colors. It will be the really light pink. And then it will be slightly lighter pink than the one that's left. And then I will have one that's left out. So I did not thoroughly explain what I am doing over here, because I'm essentially just making a triangle that I have just explained. It's the same triangle, but now you're just gonna make two on the other side of the loop as well. So I'm going to do the same thing with all of the strings over on this side. And as you can see, my loop does shift a little bit in the piece of tape I've put it in, but you can always pull it back, so that won't be a problem. You just have to be careful that your strings will stay in place for your loop. As you can see, I'm actually looking at the already the side of the triangle that I've already made to see which color I need to pick, because this pattern is the same on both sides. Maybe as you can hear, I'm not a native English speaker, and sometimes I cannot come up with a word as quickly as you need to be in a video. I am actually Dutch, so that's also why there sometimes will be a Dutch video on this channel, because I know that there aren't many tutorials in Dutch which go into much detail. Now looking into the pattern, you can, or into the loop, you can actually do two things. You can leave it like this and make the same thing on the left side of the loop, or you can already start knotting inside of your triangle, and that's what I prefer to do. I always prefer to knot on the inside of my triangle, so I know that all of these strings I cannot pull on them anymore over here because they're already in and knotted in. So I'm first going to be making this triangle, and I'm actually not going to be knotting on top of this string, because to make a really neat triangle end or a triangle start, you have to make a knot that feels somewhat unnatural, because it is in the previous row of strings that you knot, and but it does look quite nice, because if you don't do it, it will leave a small gap. So So I'm just gonna speed it up because it's gonna take a while as it's my first time making this pattern. So I will see you in a bit. So this is how far I'm going to knot my triangle. I could knot further, but it would just make it more difficult. And I'm actually now going to do the same thing on the other side of the loop. And then I will see you guys back, and then I will explain how you can connect your both triangles together. Right now I have two symmetrical triangles, and I am going to tie them together, making a knot between these two. And it's actually this knot. I'm going to circle it in the pattern that we are going to make, but first I'm going to tape them down like this so that they stay here, and it will be easier to make a knot. Of course, at this moment the tape has decided to wrap around my finger. So now they are knotted down. You have to be careful when making this knot because you do want them to be tightly together. Right after this, I am going to make the small diamond shape that this color makes to secure the this knot that I just made. If you don't pull your strings together close enough or tight enough when you make the securing knot, you will see a small gap, and it's not necessarily bad if you have a small gap that you can see, but I personally think it looks neater when there isn't a gap, but it's up to you, as everybody has their own idea on how their bracelets should look like. And nobody's wrong in their own ID. So I'm now finishing the small diamonds. That's there. And from here on you can just start making the pattern how you like. You can make it row by row or you can segment knot it. But this is how you make a basic loop, and you will use it more often than you actually think. As for every little bit bigger pattern, it's much easier to make a loop like this than to make a triangle end. So the last one is a teardrop loop, and I've already made the loop as I have just explained you how to make a loop. And the teardrop loop works a little bit different. As the name suggests, you're going to make a teardrop, and this is the teardrop I have chosen in this pattern to make. And I am also gonna try to use the straight edges technique, which just means that I implement an extra string and in every line that you normally skip a string, I make a backward forward or forward backward knot. So those are the these extra strings. You can totally ignore them if you don't want to use the technique, but I prefer to use the technique. So I have made the loop from the color from which I am first going to be making a knot, and with a triangle end or basic loop, you would make your strings go through the inside of your triangle. But right now you are going to make them go to the outside. So on the right side you are going to make forward knots according to your pattern, and on the left side you are going to be making backward knots according to your pattern, and then you are going to make the knot in the middle to tight so the close teardrop. I am going to fast forward it as it is a tedious task to do. So enjoy. I've just finished making both of the sides of the teardrop loop, and now I am going to connect them. You can also choose to first make your first row along the sides, then connect them so that you can immediately double secure your knot. I'm not going to do that in this case, but I am going to tape them down closer together to make it a little bit more easy for myself to make the securing knot. And this is actually the same sort of knot as you do with making the basic loop. And this is how you make a teardrop loop, and as you can see, it looks like a teardrop. And for all of these different techniques, you are free to choose which one you would like to make with your pattern. There isn't a specific start you need to make for specific patterns.
Thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment on this video what you want to see next.